When I think about the mistakes I've made while building my side businesses, one thing always comes to mind. Many people believe all you need is a good idea and a good product, and that the rest will fall into place. That the only thing that matters is how good your product is. But even if you have the best product on the market, if no one sees it or knows it exists, you'll never sell it. The traditional formula for digital businesses has always been P plus S plus T equals money, meaning product plus store plus traffic equals business. The problem is that when we're starting out, most of us focus on the product and the store, and we think traffic will be easy to figure out later. And this is where you have to go through this pain to truly understand it and see things completely differently. At this point in my journey as a programmer and entrepreneur with over 11 years of experience, I've realized that the most important question to ask before building is, how are we going to get traffic? This is a fundamentally different way to run a digital business, and it goes against what most people think. Like I said, I've spent 11 years as a programmer working with startups and building my own projects. I've made all the mistakes that prevent you from building a sustainable business firsthand. In this video, I'll share the 5 critical mistakes I've made while building digital businesses, mistakes that cost me time, money, and worst of all, peace of mind. And most importantly, I'll show you exactly what I do differently now. Whether you're a developer building your own products or a creator trying to build something sustainable, these lessons will save you months of frustration. So mistake number 1, selling vitamins instead of painkillers. Before we dive into this mistake, let me explain a fundamental concept, the difference between vitamins and painkillers. Vitamins are nice to have. They might improve your life in some way, but they don't solve an immediate pain. You take them because you should, not because you need to. Painkillers, on the other hand, solve a specific and urgent pain. For example, if you have a splitting headache, you'll have a painkiller immediately because it solves an urgent problem. In business, vitamin-type products are harder to sell because people can live without them. Painkillers sell way better because they solve real, urgent problems. With this in mind, let me tell you a story about the first app I built. When I became a senior developer, I was earning good money and I wanted to invest it. I don't know if it was a smart idea, but the first thing I tried was day trading. As I got into day trading, one thing became clear. You need to study your trades, otherwise it becomes gambling. I realized I needed a trading journal. I looked for an app to automate that process. I found a few, but they were all terrible. They were outdated, ugly, and it was kind of hard to use. Nobody in that space had a clean and modern SaaS. So I thought, I'll build a clean and modern SaaS. I focused on how cool the graphs were gonna be. Uber had just released a charting library for React, and I wanted to show as many graphs as possible. My fundamental mistake was focusing on nice-to-haves, the vitamins, like, look how pretty my app is, instead of focusing on the actual pain, losing money. My value proposition became, look how nice my app looks, instead of stop wasting time manually journaling, or stop gambling, analyze your trades automatically, a painkiller. What I do differently now, I use a simple framework to evaluate any product idea. What specific pain does it solve? Can I clearly explain how it saves time, money, or emotional stress? Would someone pay to solve this right now? As developers, we love building pretty interfaces. But users pay to solve problems, not for features that are just nice to have. If you're struggling to identify the pain you solve, join my community of entrepreneurial developers. We talk about this kind of thing all the time. Links in the description. Mistake number 2, focusing on the product before the traffic. This mistake was even more costly and it almost destroyed my business. So let's think about it this way. Think of the internet as a giant city. Platforms like Netflix, Instagram, and TikTok, they're huge malls in the best locations. Your product is a tiny shop on a street with no foot traffic. It doesn't matter how good your product is, if no one passes by, no one buys. So naturally, people think, it's fine, I'll just run some ads like Facebook, Google, or whatever. And I've been there. I spent $800 a month on ads for my furniture store, and all I sold was a $35 furniture oil. If I had kept going, I would have been broke. The traditional thinking is, if you build it, they will come. But I've learned to reverse that completely. Now I figure out where my audience hangs out, then I build what they need. It's like having customers lined up before the store opens. What I do differently now, before I write a single line of code, I plan at least 3 sources of traffic. Where does my ideal customer hang out online? What kind of content would they care about? How can I build an audience alongside the product? As developers, we love jumping straight into code, but your technical skills mean nothing if nobody sees what you build. Let me ask you this. If you started a new project today, what would you do first? Would you build the product or secure traffic? Leave your answers in the comments. Mistake number 3, working on things that I'm not interested in. Money matters, but there's something even more valuable for entrepreneurs: sustainable energy. I'm not talking witchcraft or woo-woo stuff here, so let me ask you in this way. Would you choose a business that makes $200K selling porta potties or $170 selling candy? Most people would take the extra $30K, but how long can you stay motivated selling something you don't care about? Most advice focuses only on the market and profit. But I've learned through painful experience that personal interest matters just as much. When my wife and I started our furniture store, I was focused only on profit. Technically, I knew how to build a great store. I had done it before for Nike. But answering daily questions about fabric types, delivery timelines, and complaints drained me. What looked like a smart move turned into a prison. One day, after a frustrating call with a customer asking about cushion density, something I didn't care about at all, I realized I had built a profitable business I hated. What I do differently now, I use a simple matrix. Technical challenge, low to high. Financial potential, low to high. Personal interest, low to high. At least 2 need to be high. If only 1 is high, like financial potential, the project fails. Because I lose motivation to push through obstacles. That is so important, I build a course to help you find your ideal niche. Link is in the description. Mistake number 4, building alone without support. This might be the most damaging one psychologically. One benefit of working at a company is that you're not alone. There are people that expect you to be there. It keeps you accountable. It gives you a sense of belonging. Even if you don't like the team, being around people just helps. That's how important community is to our human psyche. Even in prison, isolation is the harshest punishment. That same isolation is what I felt while building my trading app. Every win, like setting up auth for the first time, I celebrated in silence. Every failure, like billing integration, which I had never done before, I suffered in silence. That isolation was paralyzing. Problems I could have solved quickly dragged on. So what I do differently now, I join mastermind groups, even paid ones. I do weekly accountability calls with other creators. I create structured interactions with users for feedback. My skills leveled up when I had people to talk to, even if they weren't technical. And mistake number 5, oversharing my ideas. In programming, open source and sharing is valued, but in business, I found something I call the transparency paradox. What helps you grow as a developer, sharing openly, can sabotage your success as an entrepreneur. I learned this the hard way. When building my trading journal, I shared weekly updates on Indie Hacker. I talked about my features, pricing models, even my architecture. One day, I found a competing app that looked suspiciously familiar. Same features, same pricing, same everything. When I dug deeper, I found 5 competitors launched within the 6 months of me sharing publicly. So what I do differently now, I separate the code from the idea. I share technical challenges, but not the actual product I'm building. I use beta testers with NDAs. I only share publicly once I have traction and unique features. It's not about hiding or oversharing. It's about being strategic with what, when, and who you share with. So I'm curious to know, do you share your ideas publicly or do you keep them private until launch? Please let me know in the comments. In summary, These 5 mistakes go against what common advice there is out there. Selling vitamins instead of painkillers, focusing on the product before traffic, working on things without a personal interest, building alone, and oversharing ideas. The beauty of being a developer who builds your own products is the freedom that it gives you. But that freedom comes with a responsibility. You need to choose wisely what to build and how. These principles have saved me months of frustration, thousands of wasted dollars, and completely changed how I approach building side businesses. As a thank you for watching until the end, I made a free PDF, 10 essential questions to ask before you write a single line of code. Download it for free in the description. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you made any of these mistakes? Would you add any to the list? If this counterintuitive approach resonates with you, join my weekly newsletter. This is exactly the type of thing we talk about. We go deeper into these strategies with real examples. Link to all of this is in the description. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you think differently about your path as a developer entrepreneur, and see you on the next one. Bye.